district has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. We're in Hinckley, six of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chatroom applauses. History aside. Local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
And here we go again. Oh, go hello. Good evening. Welcome along to HDPP Live. And we are live from Hinckley. Yeah, we're live from the heart of good old Blighty on this Sunday. Don't they just go on? They're loving the claps. Great to be with you this evening, and as always, loads of people in the chat room. We'll give you all a mention in just a few moments' time. How have you spent your day? Has it been good? Are you all ready for the week ahead? That's what I need to know. I'm not, but I'll take it as it comes, I suppose. Wow, it's been very busy too, isn't it? Very, very busy. We had a great night at our presentation night at the Greyhound on Wednesday just gone. Gave about a dozen local good causes nice donations, and it was a great evening. It always is. One of my favourite nights of the year to do that, and I just felt I needed more of me to go round. I couldn't greet. I needed to be in three places at once at one stage. However, we've done it. We're through there. And thanks to you supporting our fundraising and what we do at HDPP, well, we've managed to help quite a lot of good causes, which is really, really good. And we start fundraising all over again straight away. We don't mess about, you know. Bringing our latest new rolling total to just over £40,000 since 2015. Yeah, amazing. You people make it happen. I drive it. Yeah, I drive it, but you people make it happen. So brilliant. So well done. I think for each and every one of you, I think another round of applause there. Come on, we'll do that. I know we have to pay royalties on the applause, but I'll chuck it in this time. Have the clap on me, Mrs. Anyway, in the programme this evening, all the regular features, including we'll be looking at some Pubs of the 1940s, a little 5-minute film about pubs of the 1940s. We'll also be having part 2 of Stuart Watson's Hinckley Remembered. In that, we'll be visiting Barwell and Eel Shilton a little bit later on. And we'll also be looking at those budget toys from the 1970s that were so bad they were brilliant. Going to be doing that as well. And of course, we also have our quiz tonight. Bit of a stinker one coming up. I promised you a bit of a stinker. We'll see how the Smugglers and Co. get on with that very, very shortly. So in the chat room this evening, well, Anne Hunt was first in. Hello, Anne. And she's in Lincoln. She's next door to David Allen. Watch it. He'll be round, you know. He'll be round. So good evening, Anne. Enjoy your stay in Lincoln this evening. The Starbros are here. Hello, David. Oh, nice to know that you're here and got your feet up and watching it, so that's really good. And now then, let's see, who else is there? Russet's here. Hi, Russet. Hope you got your little problem sorted out with your phone the other day. But, yeah, we'll say no more, but you know exactly what I mean. And also, who else is there? Tash Denny's in. Hello, that's Junior Smuggley. Junior, because we've got Mr. and Mrs. Smuggley, so you must be a Junior Smuggley. And Dave B, good evening, and on the first day of spring, absolutely, first day of spring. Can't believe it, already in March. Month after next is May, but I'm not going to wish this one away, I tell you. And David says, good evening, Paul, Sue, and all in the room from North Warwickshire. Nice to know that you're with us tonight as well. Other people out there, well, Mrs. Poldark's there. Hello. And she says, pinch punch the first of the month. Yes, she said, from my warm and cosy living room. Listen, turn the heat off. We don't need it now. The heating's been strapped down and stripped down and taken outside for the summer here, you know. It won't be back till October. Same as these live streams, very, very soon. And say, oh, hello, it's Steve down on the farm this evening, tuned in and ready to view what's lined up, of course. Say, and also Daniel Coburn. Thanks, Daniel. He said, great to hear you on the radio this morning, Paul. Thank you. Quite enjoyed myself this morning on FOSS 107. Do it every Sunday morning at the moment. So if you've got nothing else better to do, that's what I always say. Anyway, good evening also to, as I'm working down the list, Dangerous Den is here. Hi, Dangerous Den. I have something for Dangerous Den. Here it is, Dennis. That's what we've been talking about. It's basically a local business guide, etc. And it's also got the residential streets from 1976, and anybody that was living in the town, roughly speaking, in 1976, is in this book. So I know where you all are. I feel like Eamon Andrews, don't I? It looks like This Is Your Life, doesn't it? Anyway, Dennis, we'll sort that so you can collect it and you'll be able to peruse that. It's great looking up all the old neighbours. Scary stuff as well, I tell you. Okay then. Also, like I say, I've got my list now. I say Mr. and Mrs. Smuggley are here as well. Also, I've seen that. Where was it down that list? I have lost me space now. But however, good evening to all of you. Oh, Jan Kirby's here as well. Wishing everybody happy St. David's Day. To all those from Wales, boy, whose coat is this jacket? Yeah, good, but it's nice. And it's not been too bad a day, to be totally honest. And Paul Farmer's here. Hi, Paul. How's you going? I'm back in again. I bet you missed me. Well, probably. I'll leave that out for debate. Anyway, lovely to have you here this evening. Right, if you're all set, ready for our quiz tonight, this is where we test your, sometimes it's a bit of local knowledge. We have an anagram in there. We've got a couple of nice questions in here tonight. So with no further ado, and if I go down here, we can start the quiz. Now, as always, oh, look, John, Mr. Smuggley's got the anagram now. No, he's not, but he's going to, I'm sure. Remember, don't put your answers in until the end of the programme. When I ask you to, then you can total up your scores. So keep your answers to yourself, because remember, people nick them off you and claim it that it's their own. Yeah, so we don't want that. So here we go then. Here's your local question. What year was Bikeaid first held in Burbage? One of them is the correct year, the very first year of Bikeaid. When was it? One of them is the correct answer. Let me just have a slurp of my water a moment. Moving on. Now then, I don't even know if I can say this. Anyway, what's that a study of? Animology type of thing, or animology. What is it a study of? That's all we want to know, okay? That is question number 2. See how you do with that, yeah. Some of you might go, oh yeah, Mr. Smoothie, I know that because I work at my highly educated. Well, we'll see. So what is that? What is it? What is it a study of? Okay, that is question number 2. Here comes a stinker. What is quite unique and special about this word? If you like words and stuff and a play on words and stuff, you'll like this sort of thing. And when it was explained to me, I went, oh, I didn't know that. You need to look at that word. We know what facetious is, or facetious is, whichever way you want to pronounce it, but there is something quite unique in that makeup of the word. Okay, I'm saying them all because I don't want to give it away. So that is question number 3. Question number 4. Here's the anagram question for you. Mum's Ninja Spike Maple Racket. Yeah, I'll let you get that down a minute. I'll give you the clue in just a moment, okay? I'll leave that on the screen just so you can get it all right, okay? Mum's Ninja Spiked Maple Racket. And already... David's in 1932, David B. Said, I've got the unique word one. Have you really, you clever clogs? Well, keep it to yourself, mate. Don't tell anybody else. But you see, I didn't know that. Anyway, right, we're going to move. I'll give you the clue for the anagram in just a moment. Let's just go through those questions one more time. What year was Bikeaid first held in Burbage? One of them is the correct answer. Some of you are far too clever for your own good. I'll tell you in a moment. What is anyway, what's that the study of? I can't pronounce it. I don't know why. What is that? What is it the study of? Okay, that's question number 2. Question 3, what is quite unique about this word? And already, Mr. Smugly, I know that one because I'm on higher education. Dave B's got the unique one as well. Anne is Anne. She's got it as well. And so does Jeff. He thinks he knows what it is too. So look at that word. What's quite unique about it? It is quite a good one. And even, has Mrs. G got it yet? Not getting her head shake. I don't know. She's pondering. She's got a serious face on. Anyway, there is something quite unique about that word. Fortitious. That one. What's pretty unique about it? And it's good. It's good. Keep it to yourselves. Don't tell anybody. Right. Mum's Ninja Spike Maple Racket is the anagram, missus. And this is a much missed and lamented store in Hinckley. It's been gone a long time now. So it was a store that was once in Hinckley, much missed, much lamented. And there's all the words to get it. Okay? Can't say no more. So anyway, there we go. So there is your quiz for this evening. Right, okay then. Come on. There's more. Great, right. Just looking down my playlist there. Okay, so that's it. It's pretty good tonight. Just a heads up, of course, that the live streams will be coming to the end, the end of the month time. As I always say, when the nice, light, bright nights are here, which will be at the end of the month, of course, when we do the clocks forward, we take the live streams, give them a rest, and then we come back when we put the clocks back. So it's spring forward, fall back. That's how you remember it. And of course, end of this month, we'll see those lovely evenings when you can get out and do something, because I'm sure you'd much rather be outside making use of your time rather than look at this silly old face. That's for sure. Okay, right. While you're sorted out yet, while you've sorted out. Oh, Russet said, I also heard you this morning on the radio, 8 till 9:45. Well, I bet you went off to church then, didn't you? Well, once again, at least you found something useful to do with your morning and you went to church, you know what I mean? Thank you, Russet, anyway. Right then, let's have a look at some of our features. Let's go back. I want to go back. And according to this, if I press this button here, we're going to go back to a very different time in our history. And a very different England. It's a wonderful little 5-minute film. I love this sort of thing. Let's roll the VT.
Flanked by the church, the rectory, and the people's homes, stands the inn. In its shade and beneath its roof, men of all degrees and of all opinions meet in comradeship and comfort. Walk through any English market town and you'll find the inn at the center of its life. On market day, the people from the country around meet there to discuss the trend of prices, their children's health and their home affairs. It's the same in the villages. When the sun warms the earth, they sit outside and watch the world go by. At the English inn today, there is a hospitality that to the host is just as much a sacred charge as it was to the monks and barons in the Middle Ages, who first gave bread and ale to travelers. Often the only sanctuary in out-of-the-way parts, the monasteries had a lodge open to pilgrims and other wayfarers. Later, these lodges became separate establishments and were eventually run as inns, under such signs as the Pilgrim's Inn. One example of monastic origin is the Bull, which gets its name from the papal bull, or bill, not the animal. These inns of England have seen history happen in their yards. Pilgrims and warriors have trodden their stairways. Here, medieval knights refreshed themselves on their journeys to the Crusades to fight under the banner of St. George. The inns have preserved much of England's architecture. The early inn has preserved some of the finest carvings and treasures. Like the church, it was a sanctuary. Hence, most of these carvings have a religious meaning. Side by side with the monastic inns grew the royal inns, which were used by the king's servants when traveling in the Middle Ages. A house in each village was selected for their accommodation. These too in time became commercial inns under such ancient signs as the Crown. Later, the inn yard was used by the postboy as a link between villages and hamlets. The mails, in turn, were carried by stagecoach further afield, and today, much of our civilization can be traced back to these earlier forms of communication which centered round the inn. As the inns grew more important, their yards grew larger and galleries were added. These formed a convenient theatre for strolling players, who often used the inn for refreshment after their performance. By the beginning of the 19th century, coach travel had become more popular, and the tavern was used as a coaching station. There, luggage was assembled, and passengers would be taken aboard prior to the long drive across the English countryside. Mail coaches built for speed used the inns as halts, where fresh teams of horses were changed in a matter of seconds. Today, beneath the sign of the old coach and horses, you will find bicycles. While on the road, cars pass old toll gates, where once fees were collected for the upkeep of the main road. When the railway brought speed to industrial England, it also brought the new railway taverns. You'll also find the inn on the banks of the English waterways, our oldest transport routes. The cargoes which float past have changed with the centuries. Sail has given way to steam and the petrol motor. The inn signs themselves reflect a great variety of topical humor, interests, sports, and history. The load of mischief, a dig at the nagging wife. The volunteer, from the days when warfare was more casual. The White Hart, crest of King Richard II. England's St. George fighting the dragon. And England's St. George refreshing himself afterwards. The Six Bells with its two meanings. The row barge to remind us of more leisurely days and the cross-handed highwaymen of when our roads weren't so safe, the fighting cocks, memories of an old English sport, and the airmen, to bring our inn signs right up to date. Travel along the English road today, and you'll find the modern inn, there to refresh all travellers according to their means. Its appearance and amenities differ widely from the village tavern, but its roots are the same. It merely reflects the temper and taste of a new and swifter age. The inn parlour today is used by the local people for communal purposes of a different kind. Air raid wardens use it as their meeting place to discuss how to tackle a new type of incendiary bomb. In the back room of another inn, members of the local fire service are learning how to use some new equipment. And all over the country, people come once a week to their local tavern to pay their small contribution into the war savings group. The Home Guard have used the inn as a meeting place ever since they were a small, eager body of men hastily organized for home defense. Today, well armed and trained, the inn is still their meeting place. The inn has changed very little in appearance and hardly at all in its amenities. The contents of its cellar are not so expensive, but quite adequate for this less indulgent age. Oliver Goldsmith wrote of the inn that it was a place where grey-beard mirth from smiling toil retired, where village statesmen talked with looks profound, and news much older than their ale went round. Rich and poor, young and old, the English inn has housed them all and greets them still. For hospitality, tolerance and companionship are ageless. And at the inn, each of them is merely a new arrival at a feast that never ends.
Oh, that takes you back to a particular time. It's absolutely wonderful. I think that the history and the heritage of drinking ale houses, etc., is absolutely fascinating. It's something that's so very, very unique to us, and sadly under a hell of a lot of threat in the present day as well. I just think some people just don't get it. Just exactly how important these places are. I'm talking about proper pubs, not bars. Don't do bars. Common. A proper pub. So support your local pub, as we do, of course, at the Greyhound every month. Brilliant. Okay, now listen, some of you are far too clever for your own good, that's for sure. Let's just get on my list here. I've just been looking, because I didn't say hello to Jeff and Anna in Hawksley Rise, you know. And they're with the James and Anna, so good evening. And they're playing the quiz as well tonight. And a lot of people, you surprised me. A lot of you are doing very, very well with it. It goes without saying. So if I just scroll down a little bit, because I announced that we'd just raised over, in the last sort of 11 years, we've raised over £40,000 for local good causes. I don't know of another Facebook group. I don't know of another local Facebook group that's done anything anywhere near that. So forgive me if I just blow the group's own trumpet there, because I think it's bloody marvellous. Right, okay. Now then, let's just see. Yes, now then, people are coming in and said, got that. Let me just see what we've got. David B said, got the unique word one, so well done. John Denny said, I know the one about that, because I've got a degree at Myra. Also, so Annan's got it as well. Jeff Wallace thinks, I think I've got it, yes. And Pat Galloway, hi Pat, he says, I know what number 2 answer is, I think. Well, okay, that's good. And Eleanor, that's your Sunday name, isn't it, Kit? Was it Eleanor? Of course, it's Kit, of course. So I've got the mignon, anyway, she's got 2. Also, Russet says, I've got the unique word as well. And Mrs. G has got it now. She was on the right lines. I gave her a tiny hint, but she's got it. She goes, oh yeah. There's two interesting sort of facts about it, actually, but it sounds like most of you are on the right way anyway then. And Dave says, I think I've got questions 3, 4, 1. Won't look up 1 and 2. Okay, that's good. Because don't cheat. If you don't know the answer, you don't know it. We're not going to come round and haul you before the courts. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Okay. A great little video that, says Daniel Coburn. Thank you, Daniel. I do enjoy it. I think it's a fascinating thing. Let's quickly go through the questions in case you're a bit late coming to the broadcast this evening. We'll just do it one more time. Just go through it very quickly. Remember, keep your answers to yourself until the end of the programme when we all join the Smugly crew. When you can say, I'm with Mr. Smugly tonight. Yeah, we'll be doing that in a bit. So what year was Bikeaid first held in Burbage? It's one of those is the correct year. So that's a nice easy one to have a go with it. What is, what's that study of anyway? That I thought it was something to do with being anemic. It's not. It's not. But I'll say no more at the moment. Question number 3. What's quite unique about this word? Yeah, there is something quite unique. Look at the contents of it. That's all I shall say. And there's 2 things about its contents. Okay? 2 things about its contents, but most of you seem to be getting it right. And the anagram this evening. Apparently Anna's got this one. Yeah, a much lamented and missed store in Hinckley. Mum's Ninja Spike Maple Racket. But if you rearrange it, you'll find this store. Absolutely you will. Okay then, so that's how we're doing tonight with our quiz. What are you going to do in a few weeks' time when we stop doing this nonsense for another 6 months? I don't know. However, anyway, as we move on, oh, John, Mr. Smugly is actually emitting there, down at the bottom there. Look down there. Not tonight. Struggling with most of them. Oh, John, come on. I think you're going to pull them all out of the hat. I'm sure you will. And by the way, good news, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Mr. Smugly, he is retiring. Less than 50 days to go. And you know what that means, don't you? Do you know what it means? I can tell you exactly what it means. It means that... we'll get the book. John said he'll get the book done when he's retired. Well, let's hope so, John, anyway. And anyway, Jan Kirby, she's playing guessing games at the minute. She says, guess at 1, I think I know 2, not sure about 3, and I haven't got the aniogram yet. And the crops are here, thank goodness for that. We've been waiting for the crops all night. He's falling asleep, good enough excuse for being late. Possibly. And Kath Dennis put, yes, he might just finish his book. Wow. I can't believe all this. So, fingers crossed, by the time I come back in the autumn, we'll say, and now, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. I bet I'm not going to dream that far ahead. No, I'm not going to do that anyway. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going into part 2 of Stuart Watson's Memories of the District, of course. And last week, we left it just where... let me just make sure I've got to make sure I put the right one. We left it just where they were going to enter Barwell and Ilshilton. So settle back and enjoy. And we'll repeat the quiz all over again and do all that very, very shortly. Sit back and enjoy.
Late 19th century, and the 2 cottages just visible on the left of the screen give us a position with children and prams on the road. The same 2 cottages today, but a completely different aspect on the opposite side of the road, and today's traffic prevents leisurely strolling up the road. Hardly recognisable, this view of Top Town in 1905. Known then as Malt Mill Bank, this has seen some vast developments. We hear stories of massive traffic jams of coaches delivering and collecting workers for the flourishing boot and shoe industry that used to be. The narrow Shilton Road, flanked with tiny cottages, and the visible steeple on the primitive Methodist chapel. Recently in 2005, the chapel, having been converted into flats, had serious fire which destroyed its remaining roof. terrace cottages line Chapel Street, leading to the Wesleyan Chapel. Prior to 1912, when mains water was installed, these cottages, to obtain their supply of water, had to cross the road to one of the village water pumps. Seen here, on the edge of the pavement outside the Blacksmith Arms. The shops and houses on the left of the High Street, Barwell, in 1905 were obviously built in a fashion to last. As seen now, they appear to be the same apart from the odd facelift. The property on the right has seen a few changes, although the majority remain unblemished. Further down the High Street, a horse and cart reminds us of 1906, and the National Church School has a pronounced school frontage of the day, with its protective walls and gates. A similar frontage still exists and must bring back memories to many who have studied within its portals. In 1902, this view of the High Street towards the Red Lion has the two cottages on the entrance to Church Lane. Once again, noticeable is the freedom of the roads experienced with the lack of traffic. Yet again, only facelifts, leaving the main structures unchanged. About 1906, a much narrower church lane, known then as High Close, and the dense trees obscuring a clear view of the church. No difficulty in getting youngsters to pose for the photograph. The rectory having been removed and road widening during the years, and pruning of the trees gives us a better view of the church. Taken in 1921, the main co-op stores of Barwell, this area, together with Top Town, seems to have made Barwell unique with two centres. Of recent years, the premises have been home to the established Carpet Cottage. Known locally as Stebby Lane and one of the numerous boot and shoe factories, Geary's. The house on the extreme right of the picture was built around 1911, and the transport scene here was of that period. Today, of course, the house still exists, but the main frontage of the factory has disappeared. This photograph from a few years earlier, before the building of the houses in 1911, shows the women leaving work wearing long dresses and all with a hat. A peaceful Chapel Street in 1911 shows a roadway completely clear of traffic and lined with garageless terraced houses. Today it's impossible at any time of the day or night to find the street not lined with parked vehicles. The Jubilee in 1911 of King George V and Queen Street celebrates in a traditional manner with flags and bunting and street parties. Yet another example of properties without parking facilities. (1905) in Shilton Road, and terraced houses but a little more upmarket in appearance, with well-turned-out children and the primitive chapel and steeple in the mist. Once again today, congested with parked traffic at all times. Such was the fierceness of the competition between Barwell and Earl Shilton that you almost needed a passport to cross the border between these two villages. Approaching Earl Shilton in 1920, this picture of Hinckley Road, taken at the corner of New Street, illustrates that a certain amount of affluence had arrived in the area with substantial semi-detached houses being built. More or less unchanged, these properties remain as a main entrance to the village. The apparent wide expanses of Wood Street in 1912 show considerable forethought by town and country planners of the day. Still, without a bypass, Earl Shilton has regular traffic congestions as a result of the necessary traffic light controls. The turn of the 19th and 20th centuries and the Hollow was a major central junction in the village. In the centre of the photo, the twin gable fronts are worth noting. Legend has it that there was once a giant mangle provided by the Raven family where the general public would wring out their washing. The Earl Shilton Building Society offices are now a distinctive feature of this area, and the twin gables still exist over the village's remaining butchery shop. It must have been quite nice to have no concern for traffic back in 1910. And drinking and driving didn't bother the customers of the King Bill. Even crossing this road in safety at rush hour today is a major undertaking. Sometime in the 1920s, the High Street was beginning to get traffic along with the three-wheeler Morgan, but more significantly, the High Causey on the right of the screen. The identical High Causey still prevails, and the Mansion House comes in for many discussions as to its origin. Quite unrecognisable today is the junction on Almays Lane, known by the locals in 1926 as Powder Hill Alley. Also, in local dialect, Best's Bakery was referred to as Bessus. The filling station is now defunct, as is the glory hole. Hopefully this will soon be tidied up. We did refer earlier to for better or for worse. Of more recent times, probably the 1930s, Wood Street, High Street and Station Road meet. Traffic is increasing, but the roads are wide enough to cope. The lamppost, it carries a sign to Elmthorpe Station. Probably many have never given thought to the name Station Road. An unquestionable necessity in the past for the local boot and shoe trade, remembered by Ray Orton, his grandfather, with their horse and cart, collecting the bends of leather from the station almost every day of the week. Closed by the Beecham rail cuts in the 1950s, there's no evidence today at all of having been a flourishing depot, and another gentleman has memories as a 6-year-old living in Stapleton and being walked from home to Elmthorpe Station for their annual holidays. How many today would consider this a brief stroll? Taken in 1905, the Wentworth Arms, designed by a famous architect by the name of Voysey, stood adjacent to the station, and as a result, no doubt gained much business from this. Still having the same outward appearance, but no longer with the occasional horse and dray. The small building to the right was the stables, and today is the bottling shed and storeroom. And so, continuing our round trip, passing down London Road, Hinckley, and unextended Holywell pub in 1915. Improvements and modifications have seen it grow to this modern hostelry. St Catherine's Church in Burbage, about 1911, was also more open planned, with the trees not yet fully grown. Children could not today take up a stance in the middle of the road. Almost obscured by the now developed trees, the church and its clock, mounted in 1887 to commemorate the Jubilee of Queen Victoria, the adjacent Archer Cottage was and still is a feature of this locality. On the opposite side of the road is Cedar Lawns, a fine period property, and a smaller row of cottages has seen a number of changes, particularly the replacement of thatch roofs, and the Cross Keys takes on a new look. A little further down Church Street is New Road, adjacent to the War Memorial and at one time the village green. Its appearance in 1910 differs very little with today, only double glazed window frames and a coat of paint having been added. Close by the horse pool and looking north, Church Street in 1912 has grassy verges to the walkway. Today, no matter what time of day, you cannot see the footpath for parked vehicles, similar to many urban roads. Once again we remark, for better or for worse. Almost from the same spot, but looking south, the cottages on the right have long since disappeared in the widening of Church Street. Most of the other houses can be recognised in present days, but the character of the area has been changed. The corner of Windsor Street has had a checkered life. At one time the Boot Inn pub, then the village post office, then for many years a travel agency, but today insurance, mortgage and estate agencies has become a major necessity. Even in 1920 you could walk with ease up the middle of the road, and the Chequers Inn was a regular venue for many inhabitants of the day, as it still remains a popular local. The Three Pots, countryside peace and tranquility appears to be surrounding the Three Pots back in the 1920s. However, by then motorised traffic had arrived and was beginning to be the new way of life. This area being a major junction on the A5, it witnessed a variety of accidents. Today the Harvester stands back from the main road. As a complete change, throughout the film we have commenced each sequence with an old image. To finalise, we show an image of today. Possibly an accident in the waiting. This must be an example where it could only get better. Please hurry and make it, Hinckley, as it was.
It's always an evocative video. I quite like that one. But you have to remember that was made in the early 1990s, actually. And so when he said shunt without a bypass, of course, it's there now, obviously. So, but it's still interesting to watch how the scenes have changed, even from what was then the present day to what it is now. So there's quite a few of that. But I hope you enjoyed it. Alan Cropp said I enjoyed that one. That was good. Lovely stuff, says Dennis Perkins. He was talking about when I first saw you on the village green. I'll let you finish the song there, matey. So there's been lots of changes, of course. There we go. Now then, last chance to have a go at the quiz tonight, because after our next feature, we'll be asking you to do the answers. Quite simply, and I think some of you done well. In fact, a lot of you have done a lot better than what I thought, if I'm going to be honest. I thought, I'll give them a few stinkers. But no, you lot are pretty smart. So let's go through the quiz. And as I said, just go through the questions one more time. Here we go. And question 1, it was just a simple one, a multi-choice answer job. One of them is the correct answer for what year was Burbage Bikeade first held in Burbage. Pretty straightforward, that one, I would say. Now, what is this the study of? Yeah, and that. What is it? That's what we want to know. Mrs. G's got that one right, so well done to Mrs. G, yeah. And what is quite unique about this word, there is two interesting things about this word, but all of you seem to be on the right track, I'm pretty sure. But I'll announce the what the two unique things is about it, okay? Jolly good. Okay, we move on. Here's the anagram, Mum's Ninja Spike Maple Racket. Okay, if you rearrange that, it'll give you the name and location of a much missed, lamented store in Hinckley. There you are, and I think a lot of people obviously getting that right. Well, after our next feature, as I say, we will come back and we'll be giving you the answers to that. Now then, so it has been a busy time of late, and my diary's filling up with talks and presentations to do. I'm actually, particularly week after next, I'm actually looking forward to going to talk to the pupils of St Mary's Primary School, my old school. So I've only been left almost 60 years ago, but however, looking forward to that. Going there and talking to the kids, because you can't beat getting the kids interested in their local heritage, and the way HDPP do it. Hopefully, they'll be enthused and really enjoy it. Looking forward to that. Anyway. He says, moving on, because my tea has arrived. Well, that's arrived, so I'm going to be sitting back while we watch our next feature. I've got nice mug of tea here. Good. Oh, it's not in the HDPP mug. Okay, I won't show it on the screen then. So why I'm doing that? Why I'm doing that? I'm going to let you have this feature now. It's budget toys of the 1970s, stuff we were probably buying ourselves, probably had at one stage, or indeed stuff you'll remember probably buying for grandchildren, etc., etc. It's going to be well worth a watch, this one, so settle back and enjoy this budget toys. Even though they were rubbish, some of them, we loved them, and it'll all be explained quite now.
The toys of the 70s that most parents could afford, tacky or great. Those unforgotten toys in the 70s and what price it was. In the 1970s, we had our ups and downs, although we remember the decade so fondly, with great memories of the colourful fashions, the flares, platform shoes and the orange-coloured deco. Many families still found themselves struggling with keeping the household bills above water and keeping away from the provident loan collector. We had 3-day working weeks and strikes were prominent, but as poor as we were, our parents managed to treat the kids to the toys of the era. Tacky or great, we will remember many of the cheaper, more accessible games and toys of the 1970s. So that is what we're going to talk about today. I've read your comments and people have asked for the more affordable memories that most people were given back in the day. So here we go. The Spirograph. Many would share this creative toy, and it was simple, plastic, and all you needed was a pen and paper. There were plastic circles within circles. They were like cogs with random holes for your pen. You just move around in the circle which was within an outer circle, and your pen would create patterns on the paper. Hard to describe, but many will remember, and there will be sheets of paper all over the place with these creations stuck on doors, fridges and bedroom walls. They didn't create pictures as such, just geometric shapes and different colours if you change pens. The price in the mid-70s was around £2.57. It was invented in the late 1960s, but this was a massive hit for the 1970s child, and it is still on the market today, averaging new at around £15. I have seen a few old ones in charity shops that are quite cheap. Matchbox cars. Now these had been around for years, but in 1970 Matchbox diecast cars started their 175 series with a modernised look, and they introduced Super Kings. The models became slightly bigger than the older sets, and the Super King seems massive at the time. In order to avoid paying copyright, some Matchbox small models were actually made up, particularly in the late 70s. But they were well remembered models, and they were affordable at 50p each in 1975. The Super King model would set you back at an average of £1.25, so they were robust and you could throw them around the room and they'd still be playable. Dinky were more expensive, and Corgi had its own series around the same time and the same price as Matchbox. I don't know, I always preferred Matchbox to Corgi. I wonder what your preferences were. There was also another company making models called Spot On, which was around 1967, so a little earlier. Produced by Triang in Belfast, they were more detailed, hence the name Spot On. These are highly collectible and can fetch a fortune today. And as we all know, we should have kept the boxes. Those cheap plastic friction-powered toys that were popular in the 70s, they never had a brand name of sorts, but all you saw on the box was made in Hong Kong. As a bus fan, I used to get these from the local market, and they could break so easily. A simple box with artwork of drawings of a British town, printed in simple colours, mainly a London phone box or a pillar box. These toys kept us entertained for minutes until they fell apart. How to describe friction power? Well, a few cogs in the mechanics that allowed the back wheels to run a little longer than when you pushed it manually. The vehicle would travel along the floor. Didn't travel very far though. You've had to have owned one to understand. But looking at the artwork on the boxes today, I can't help think that it's wonderful. Can you? Look at these. The idea had been around for years, but in the 1970s, after us joining the common market, this brought these toys to Britain in their tons. They cost pennies, and I wonder how many are still around today. Did you ever see an advert on a TV, especially around Christmas, for a toy that you really wanted and ended up with a cheaper imitation from the market stall? I hope I'm not the only one. Instead of Hornby Railway sets, you got Tyco, or instead of Meccano or Lego, you got something called Dibbo Creation. Now I wonder if anybody else remembers that creation. I'd love to know if you make it in the comments. Don't get me wrong, cheaper games and knockoffs, as my mother would call them, they were fun to play with, but I would never admit I got those unbranded versions of a fashionable toy. I was never upset. I think many of us kids were more aware of the family purse back in the 1970s, and we really did appreciate what we got. But it's true to say that most of those toys, they didn't last long. Majorette or Husky, I think they were a cheaper version than Dinky or Corgi back then too. Used a bit more plastic. And for Barbie or Cindy doll lovers, there were loads of dolls around with similar names for pennies. Probably headless by Boxing Day, and the cheaper ones didn't even have any knickers on. Hey, what about those toys that our parents enjoyed more than we did? I used to get Airfix models, only the small ones, but my dad would insist on helping me build them, and then he would just take over and build the whole thing himself. Or you get a game, a family game, and then your family would play them with their visitors while you were at school. Stigglebricks. Stigglebricks was launched in 1969, just ready for Christmas, and in 1970 they were flooding our market. They were the brainchild of Dennis Fisher Toys, the guy that invented Spirograph. Later he sold it to Hasbro. Stigglebricks were for younger kids, and they just stuck together and frankly made nothing useful at all. To be honest, they were tat, weren't they? Cheap at a starting price of around 60p, but they remained in the toy box and hardly saw the light of day. We all got an annual, didn't we? Our favourite comic or magazine came out with a yearly hardback version for just over £1 in 1975, just to get an average price. That's around a tenner today in 2025. The Beezer, the Jackie, the Whizzer and Chips, Marvel annuals, they were endless. Bestsellers of the day were the Dandy, the Bunty and the Beano. We read them over and over again. Many were probably kept in the attic for years. They're all over the car boot sales today, but most of them haven't really valued. The Looking album was my favourite at the time, not forgetting the individual pop star annuals like David Cassidy, the Bay City Rollers and Susie Quattro. Here's another one, not a toy, but for birthdays and Christmas, many of us got a single record of the day because they were cheap, around 49 pence in 1975. Mind you, my sister would buy me a record as a present, but it was always amazing how it was her favourite band, and she used to borrow and play it, and that record never left her bedroom again. What about cheap packets of sweets such as fondants or jellies or chocolate flavour stuff? How many of us got those, eh? Well, they were quite sickly, and it's just as well we never saw the ingredients on the box. Those market stallers had a lot to answer for, eh? Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's get back to toys and games. Plastic farm animals. Cowboys, horses, soldiers. They were pressed plastic coloured bits that normally arrived in clear bags. You had an assortment of models that you collected and made up your own scenes, such as a farmyard or a military scene or a cowboy ranch. They were misshaped and didn't even stand up without falling over. But they were fun, and some were as cheap as 20 pence for a set. So many kids would cover their bedroom floors with these models, creating movie sets with unbranded figures that we named the characters ourselves. So popular in the 1970s, but upsetting when they were accidentally kicked over or being told to put them away before you went to bed, thus ruining the whole scene. Action Jacks. They were made in Hong Kong. It was a cheap version to Action Man, and if you see the pictures here, you can see there's no comparison to the real thing. Here are a few examples of imitation dolls and figures that were on the market store that really should have had a health and safety inspection. Action Jacks were made with blown plastic and was a Star Products production, whoever they were. The Pet Rock. It's got to be mentioned. This toy, invented in 1975, made the inventor Gary Dahl a millionaire. It didn't really make it to the UK. I can't think why. It was a pebble in a box that did absolutely nothing. Can you? It sold in its millions. The idea was no feeding or grooming was necessary, and it would make a perfect pet for kids. Massive in the USA, but alas, Brits never bought into it. A pebble in a box. They say that you can't get blood out of a stone, but costing in UK money around £1.95, they certainly drew a few quid out of it, eh? The cost of it, as I said, would work out around £15.93 in today's money. Still wondering why Brits never bought into it. Apparently, it has been relaunched. I'll keep my eye on the stock market. The idea came when Gary was in a pub chatting to his friends about his pets getting on his nerves. I wonder how many beers he had that night. I've got a few house bricks at home for sale. One of them's called Fluffy, if anybody's interested. Toy kids' cap guns. They were massive in the 70s, and although the prices varied, they were basically still very cheap. They grew popular worldwide, and the UK kids loved them. The posh kids would be kitted out in a cowboy outfit, but kids like me, we were just happy to have the toy. They were shaped like old Western movie-style guns, made of metal and had a roll of dots, and when triggered, they would make a bang. Well, sometimes. The rolls of caps were like mini explosives on a paper roll. They made a bang. No house fires, no extinguishers needed. You could buy spares for around 15p, and they were fun. Today they are not banned, but the laws of taking one out and being caught with his toy could get you in hot water due to the restrictions of imitation weapons being frowned upon. Makes sense. Never take one out in the rain. The paper got wet very easy, so they were doomed. I can't wait to hear what some people did with those caps rolls. Tell me in the comments. We all had a cheap sheriff badge as well, didn't we? Mine was plastic. Western films, they were so popular in the 70s, so this toy was bound to be a hit. Compendium sets were another low cost effective toy, especially for Christmas time. How could a parent go wrong? Ludo, snakes and ladders, bingo, tiddlywinks, drafts, and many, many more. Depending on the price that you paid was the quality of this amazing set. The cheap ones just had cardboard and plastic counters. Even the drafts would push out cardboard circles, and the bingo was just paper dots that you covered your numbers with. Never took long for the pieces to go missing or the cardboard to get creased or bent. Was it hours of entertainment for the family or years of more space in that attic? Everyone, I'm sure, spent at least one Christmas day with one of these sets. And did you win at bingo in your house? You only won the sweets back that you already had for Christmas, and sometimes your parents would win them back off you. I must say it is illegal to gamble under the age of 18. Did our parents think about that when they were winning our gifts back? Now older kids and the family were getting more mature presents, and there was nothing better than all those shaves and those soaps available from Boots. However, our friend at the outdoor market had much more affordable things to offer. Soap on a rope that crumbled and never lathered, matey bubble bath that had no scent, an aftershave like High Karate at 99p, and mock Avon perfumes. To be honest, they weren't that bad. We even had a fake posh pen in a plastic box reading Paper Friend. That's just me playing with words. But remember those pens with the 4 choices of ink colour where you pressed the slide down the side of it? You had 4 little buttons and each button would correspond to a different ink colour. I think they were called Clickerland. Oh, and posh writing paper and envelopes that Mother used to use to write to the council. Plasticine. I'm including this because the 1970s brought us that character Morph on the kids' TV programme Take Heart, presented by the wonderful and gently spoken Jonathan Hart. Plasticine was invented by William Harbert back in 1897 and was used initially for his students to model artwork without the substance going hard, thus remaining pliable enough to be able to use it again. The idea soon caught on as a toy in the early 1900s, and it was sold to kids. The original colours were bland, and in 1975, as an example, a pack was around 20p. I'd say about £1.50 today. The colours became more vibrant and kids loved making models, trying not to mix up the colours at first, but eventually we did. And all those colours would all go into some sort of dirty grey or dirty brown colour, and it would pick up all the household dust. But I do remember that smell that you got from plasticine when you first opened that fresh pack of all those colours all laid out. Petroleum jelly was the smell. I'm going to finish off with Space 1999, the Eagle. I have no idea what it cost when Dinky introduced it in 1975, the same year as the programme hit our screens, about Moonbase Alpha with Martin Landau and Barbara Bain. They were fab, and most of us kids had one. I don't think they were pennies, but today they are worth a fortune. Even the battered ones sell, the ones without that little box that used to drop when you press the button. But if you've got one in an original box, then you're talking hundreds of pounds. Space 1999 was a massive 2-season series by ATV. It was about being on the moon, being blasted into space. Those eagles, as called, were very distinctive, and we all loved them, and we would all remember one. Anyway, thank you for those who commented about showing more affordable toys and gifts of the 70s. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to explore and reminisce. Yeah, that's the word. And I hope I've given you some great memories too. Again, please excuse my typos and my dyslexia and my errors. And thank you again so much for watching and for those really kind comments and the memories that you've shared with me. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.
Well, thanks to Mickey Babington there, and we'll be featuring 1 or 2 more of his films in the next couple of weeks before we end our live streams, of course. So, and there's some good ones to come. So, thank you very much for that. You can find more on YouTube. You're going to type the guy's name, and you'll find a lot more of stuff which we'll be featuring, as I say. So, there we go. Lovely. Now, but the old toys, they brought back some memories there. Well, because as you know, coming from a big family, you know, I had the best of of both worlds, really, of the stuff that my older brothers had and stuff, and likewise my younger brothers had. So I could relate to most of that. And plasticine, oh my word, yeah. I've got, heaven forbid if it got trod in the carpet. Oh my word, just thinking about that. And of course, was it Dinky or Matchbox or Corgi? Exactly. They were all good stuff. Excellent indeed. And there's great happy memories. Okay, right. Okay. Oh my, look at the time. It's just gone half past 8, and it means we're time to do the answers to our quiz. Now then. Just before we start, as I say, don't give me all your answers straight off. We're doing one at a time. There's only 4 to do. So we'll go over to answer headquarters now. What I've got to do is get to the right button to got quiz with chat. That's what I want. So here we go. I'll leave the chat on the screen so you people watching this a little bit later on can see the answers coming in. Okay, so then, we started off by asking what year was Bikeaid first held in Burbage. One of those is the correct answer. Can somebody please do that? While we're waiting for the answers to come in, Pat Galloway saying, great memories there, Paul. And Dennis Punk said, I've still got a few dinkies. Does Maggie know? Also, and Daniel Cove, he thinks he's got one tonight. So here we go. Anne Hunt's having a guess of 1989. Jan Kirby saying 1988. But Dennis is right. He's the first one in with the correct answer tonight. It's 1987 was the very first Bikeaid in Burbage. 1987 is the correct answer. Well done to Tash. And let's anybody else say yes anyway. No, and Jeff Wallace. So 1989, Anna was in it, but couldn't have been the first one then. But there you go. Definitely 1987 is when we had the first Burbage Bikeaid. And he said bike race then. Almost the same difference, I suppose. Let's go on to question number 2. Now, what's this all about? What is and what's that all about? Yeah, what's it the study of? Okay. Let's just see. Jan Kirby comes in with the correct answer along with Anne. Anne Hunt, she's correct as well. So we're talking, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking the study of the wind. No, not that sort of wind. The natural wind. No, not that sort of natural wind. We mean weather-wise, meteorologically speaking sort of wind. And Jeff Wallace gets it right. Yes. Of course, he would get that being a pilot as such. Yes, okay then. And Tash Jenny said, is it the study of those them sea creatures? No, it's not. It's the study of wind. So, and Dave's got it right as well. There you go. Yes, and Daniel Coburn, you should have known that. So you can stay behind tonight and write out 50 times. It's all to do with the wind. All right? Yes, you should definitely know that, mate. Okay, going on to, now then, let's just see what answers come in now. We know a lot of you got this right. What is quite unique about this word? Facetious, or facetious, if you want to do it that way. Right then. Okay then. Yeah, here we go. Dave B said, vowels in order. Yes, contains all the vowels in alpha order. Quite right, Dennis. That's true. So, it's this. Well done if you got it right, by the way. This word has got all the vowels in, A, E, I, O, U, but they're also in alphabetical order as well. I didn't know that till the other. That's a good one. Yeah, John Denny got it because he works at Myra, but not for much longer. But you've got it. Well done. So, yes, the vowels are there, and they are also in alphabetical order. So, well done if you got that. You are very clever. You're far too clever for your own good. Yeah? Brilliant. Okay. And finally, Mum's Ninja Spike Maple Racket. What we were looking for, a much missed and lamented store in Hinckley. It's been gone a long time now, but it's fondly remembered all the time. Let's see how many of you coming. Yeah, they've come in. Anne Hunt says, as usual, no idea. But you'll know it, I can guarantee it, because Jan Kirby's got it right, as is Dave B. John said, I've got no idea, even though I do work at Myra, but not for much longer. He doesn't know. Jeff Wallace has got it right. And as I say, Dennis Perkins and David has got it right. So it's Simpkin and James Marketplace. Oh, you've only got to say that. And people say, oh, I remember the smell of the coffee. It's the same old story, and I know repeat it, but it's true. Yeah. Anyway, Yeah, you've got it. So if you've got Simpkin and James Marketplace, you've got it right. Well done indeed. Even Kevin Beasley got that right tonight. Well done, Kevin, because he doesn't normally get the aniogram, but he's got it tonight. So while you're there, can you send us in your totals, please, ladies and gentlemen? We'll see if anyone's going to claim 4 out of 4 tonight. If anyone's got 4 out of 4, you can put it in the chat room now. That'd be useful. 3 for Jan. That's good. 3 for you tonight. Pat Galloway, just the 1 for me. Okay, didn't want to go home too much. With all the answers right, you know it's like. Dennis says 3 for me, better than I thought. Jeff's got 3. The Krups, none for us. Okay then. 2 for Anne. Well done, Anne. And like I say, Kevin's got 1. And a big 0. Must try harder, said Daniel Cobert. Well, you're staying behind tonight anyway, Daniel, so you're going nowhere. David's got 3 for you. And John Denny, is that scrolled for a bit funny? I'm trying to read that at the bottom. He's got John Denny 13, 1. Oh, I see. 1, I see. Tash Denny 1 technically. Yeah. Yeah, you trying to take our John from us, but to put your boat right. Never mind that. Get in the queue. We want our book first. So nobody's actually got 4 out of 4, but we've got a lot of 3s. So well done. Congratulations. Thank you for taking part. And like you say, if you don't know it, you don't know it. No, say we're not going to send the boys round or anything like that. You know, I mean, I often say, if I don't know, I don't know. Simple as that. But good. Tash Dent said, I found him first. She's getting worked up now. Anyway, listen, let's stop that nonsense now and say that, that's the end of the programme. I hear the cheers going up all around the live stream. But we'll be back next week. We'll do it all over again. More features, of course, and whatnot. And as I say, we're into the last month of live streaming. We'll be going away. We'll be here the night. I think we do the clocks, the first Sunday after it's done. And then that'll be it till the autumn. So tell your friends and stuff. You'll be available on Sunday nights and stuff. I know Carol Beasley's not here tonight. She's not made an appearance, so we'll send out a search party for her because normally she's about somewhere. I'm glad you all enjoy it. It's always good fun doing this, and if it's just wild way, one of these dark evenings, which is why I like to do it through the autumn and winter months, because let's face it, it's dark. You can't go out and do out. You could sit and finish writing a book, but we won't go into that right now. As I say, it just helps spend that. And you spend it with friends. You spend it with friends. Yeah, everyone's very friendly in the chat room. So there you go. Anyway, well done to everybody in the quiz tonight. And as I say, all being well, I'll be back next week. We'll do it all over again and whatnot. Until then, take care. Have a great, great week. And I look forward to seeing you here next week, 7:30, live here on HDPP. Until then, take care. Ta-da.
We're making history. HDPP chapter upholds history, supporting local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee, the sweetest honey can be. Interesting here again.
And of course, the bit we never ever talk about. Yeah, the bit where, if you hang on, you're going to get some silly dad jokes before I let you go and whatnot. And I always like to do this because some of these are great. Credit to Dangerous Den, by the way, who sent me this big box of gags. So I've got loads, don't worry. The time I've used them up, we can come back and start using them again. You'll never know. You won't see the join at all. There you go. I did forget to mention, by the way, our old school assembly hymns and songs on the 21st of March, by the way. Hope you're going to come along because it's going to be a great little afternoon. And it's the pinnacle of the organathon that's taking place in the church on the 20th into the 21st. Like I say, 3 till 4, we'll be doing that. Looking forward to doing that. Now then, as I promised you some daddiest jokes here. So, are you ready? Here we go. They're really silly tonight. That's what I like them. Where did the general keep his armies? Up his sleeves. My granddad has the heart of a lion and a lifetime ban at the zoo. What is a runner's favourite subject at school? Geography. Geography. Knock, knock. Who's there? Water. Water who? What are you doing? Just open the door. I just found out that isn't really a real word. I can't even tell you how angry I am. And an old classic, an old chestnut to finish off with tonight. How does Good King Wenceslas like his pizza? Deep pan, crisp and even. And with that, I wish you good night. We'll see you soon. Ta-da.